Hello guys, and welcome to another live stream. Today we are making a picture of Friends, the TV show. This is gonna be a lot of work, so this might be a two-parter, but yeah. I think it's gonna turn out really cool, but it's gonna be a lot of work. It's a bit hot, I gotta turn on the fan, and then we'll turn on some music.
them in time. New era dawns, algorithms climb. Free the people's voice, let the future rhyme. Gatekeepers cut it, powers slip away. Digital revolution, taking down decay. Future in the hands of code all the way. Time for real talent, watch it fade to gray.
So right now we're working on Ross. Hello to everyone in chat. Who's your favorite from Friends? Leave it in chat. Patent hook.
let's light the fuse. No more skirting around the edges. Dance among the smoky hedges. Don't hesitate anymore, just do it. We dare any of you.
Okay, let's do Phoebe. Thank you to everyone in chat. Thank you, everyone. So nice. You guys are so nice. A lot of details over here. Thank you, Andy.
Tangled in the web of their lies. I'm the ghost they fear in disguise. Shadows fall as I make my move. In the dark, I've got nothing to prove. With a smile like a loaded gun, I'm the chaos they can't outrun. I'll be the spark that lights the fuse. In a world that's got nothing to lose. shadows fall as I make my move. In the dark, I've got nothing to prove. With a smile like a loaded gun, I'm the chaos they can't outrun. I'll be the spark that lights the fuse. In a world that's got nothing to lose. I'm the storm they didn't see coming. The echo in their minds always humming. Breaking the chains they tried to bind. Rebellion's the truth they'll never find. Underneath their painted skies, I see the cracks, I hear the lies. But in the silence I'll stand tall. Rebellion's the anthem they'll recall. Whispers of the night call my name. In the shadows I'll stake my claim. With a heart that beats out of time, I'm the rebel who won't be confined.
We're doing Monica. Any love for Monica? I'm from Norway. Thank you to everyone watching. It's so cool to scroll for you guys. So many people. That's amazing. let's change the playlist. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, people. This is a picture of Friends, the cast of Friends. Oh wow! Awesome! Okay guys, sorry, I'm gonna turn this off a little bit, just when I'm talking. Okay, so now we have gotten halfway. So we have done Ross, Monica and Phoebe. So we have 3 more left. We can keep going today, but I do have to change blades. But since there are so many people watching, maybe we should keep going. It's so much fun. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to today and everything. And I'm sorry for not interacting with you guys more. It's just a little bit hard. But yeah, I do appreciate all the love. Okay. Let me just switch blades and we can continue. There we go. Okay, which one should we do next then? Joey? Chandler or... Oh my god. Brain freeze. Jennifer Anderson. What's her character again? I totally forgot. Ah, that's humiliating. I love this show. Let me know in the chat. Well, I'll do is it Jennifer? Jennifer, it is, yeah. Let me do that one. Rachel! That's her name. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Let me turn on music again and we'll keep going. you. Hello, Black Ops. Which one? Which one should I do? Okay. I'll pick Joey. Starting to look like something. Thank you for subscribing. That's awesome! So, Chandler is starting to look like Chandler. Oh, we actually did this playlist as well, so now we gotta do another playlist. It's a workout today.
circuits never sleep. I feel my spirit hollow in this dream of chrome and steel. Wires twist and tangle in a dance of sparks and light. My heart begins to strangle in the neon of the night. We are the last resistance against the digital time. In the void of resistance.
Okay, guys, we are done with all the people. So now we only have the lettering left. Like this stuff. And the background, which is gonna make the whole picture. But, I need to stretch my back a little bit because I've been scrolling way too long today. But it's turning out really cool. I really, really like it. Just give me 1 second and, yeah, I just need to sort of stretch my back out a little bit. I'm just gonna go like this a little bit, and I'll be back. I'll turn on some music. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Okay.
dime. AI cuts deep, slaying them in time. New era dawns, algorithms climb. Free the people's voice, let the future rhyme. Gatekeepers got it, power slips away. Digital revolution, taking down big petty. Future in the hands of code all the way. Time for real talent, watch it fade to gray.
guys. Let me turn on this. Give me a second. Oh, come on. It's the fan. Just gonna turn it off. There we go. Okay guys, we are officially done with this picture. So what we're going to do now, unless I'm just gonna check if I messed something up or forgot something. Nope, looks cool. Now I have to take this stuff off, which is just some blue tape, and then we're gonna sand it down, oil it, and put it in a frame. And then I got some cool stuff to show you guys, because the Wall of Madness is has grown a bit, and yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you guys that at the end. So yeah, this was a lot of work, but I'm very, very happy that I was able to do the whole thing in one stream. We had a lot of people watching today, which was a lot of fun, or is a lot of fun, I should say. A lot of new subscribers. That's awesome. We are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers now, because we're going. we always have a thing on the channel that when we try to get like a new 1,000, that we do something fun. So we made when we got to 4,000 subscribers, we did a self-portrait of me. So when we get to 5,000, the idea is to make me into a superhero, basically make me as Professor X. So yeah, I'm looking towards that. But we're also gonna, I can announce now that we're going to do start with a big new project. I'll talk more about that at the end of the stream today, because I'm going to show you my Wall of Madness, you know, stuff that we made, and yeah, sort of the whole thing. Lots of viewers today. Cool. That's a lot of text. I'm just gonna get this off instead of reading all of that, Karoy, but I hope that's okay with you. Yeah, I'll read like all the comments and stuff at the end, if it's okay. You know, just rewrite it to me or at some point or something, or I can scroll up, or if it's not so many people writing, you know. I don't want to be like, you know, not interacting with you guys, but I just want to work and get this stuff off, because I think it's nice for you guys also, because this part is really, really boring to watch, I guess. So we are at 2 hours and 12 minutes today. That's somewhat of a long stream. Usually I stream for 1.5 hours. So this one is a little bit more detailed than what I usually do. Not that what I usually do is easy, but I would say. Boy, the car is your moderator now, yeah. Yeah, I don't know where Splashby is. She's usually my moderator, but she's kind of disappeared. I need to write to her, but I'm thinking maybe she's on vacation or something. But yeah. First stage of being a moderator. Yeah, I've had 2 moderators. Boomer was a moderator for a little while, but he's not anymore because, well, really no other reason that he just didn't show up after he got moderator statues. So, but I talked to him about it later, and he's cool about it and everything, you know. So no hard feeling whatsoever. I appreciate people just want to help regardless, you know. But I'm still thinking about maybe I should get like a microphone that I can put. Let me do this. Like a microphone that I could sort of put here, so you guys can hear me a little bit better. What wood are you using? I'm using MDF. So yeah, and that's a reason for that. The reason for it is if I use MDF, it's a little bit cheaper type of wood, and then I can sell it cheaper to people. It's also very easy accessible, and most people don't. I mean, us who really care about the wood stuff or are really into woodworking, we care more what type of wood it is. But people in general just want something cool on their wall, and if I can offer that to a good price, you know, then I think that's what counts to me. But you can do this, what I'm doing, in any type of wood. We have done a couple of pictures as well in aluminium. I would like to get into doing other types of wood, just to challenge myself a little bit more, but this is working for me, I feel. I think MDF is a great place to start when you're doing scroll sewing. And I will have to say though, if you are from America, that the MDF that we use in Europe is far less poisonous than the one that Americans use. So that's kind of why I've been trying to explain many times why I don't use a mask when I work with MDF, but people always want to find something wrong with what I'm doing, so you know, what you're gonna do. But of course, use a mask. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I don't. I'm not perfect. I've tried with pine. Yeah. I do sometimes when I do projects for other people, you know, like projects that I don't stream, like sometimes people want me to make a sign for their yard or something, then I usually go for, you know, like pine or something like I don't, I'm from Norway, so I don't remember what the wood are called in other like in English. But yeah, other wood types. MDF is easy for such stuff. Yeah, it's easier. You can still mess up pretty badly with MDF. Okay, so this is how it turned out before we sand it down and before we do anything else with it. It's really cool. I'm very happy with it. So I'm going to turn the camera around and lose half of you, because that's what I always do. And turn on some music and work fast. So don't worry about it if you do want to stick around for how it will look. Try to do this somewhat slow. Sorry.
losing grip on the reins. Industry shaking, outdated in their veins. Artificial mind disrupting all their plans. Watching panic sweating in their suits and brands. They push the same old sound, same old names. AI coming through, burning all their claims. Computers in the sonic flames. No more.
Okay guys, we are done with another picture. Let me show you the wall of madness. It is starting to take shape. So yeah, let me do this. Let's see if we can do it like that. Just have to change some lights. Ta-da! Something like this. Okay. So you can kind of get an idea for what we're working with here. So, right up in this corner, right there, we're gonna do a project that is this size. Let me get it. Same size as last time. So it's gonna be this size, and it's gonna go up here. And it's going to be DC. So yeah, we are doing Justice League. I want to do DC as well, not just Marvel. So we will have Avengers, X-Men, and Justice League. But there's one more thing that I added to this, which I think was kind of cool. Let's see if we get it working. Got some LED lights. So yeah, I don't know what color we should go for, but I guess this is the white one. Red. I don't know if it picks up on stream how it looks, but yeah. Blue. I have to go all the way there because it's hidden behind one of the pictures. That's why the thingy. So yeah. But yeah, we can figure it out later. So the madness continues. Anyway, guys, thank you so much to everyone who has been watching today. It's been extremely fun. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you, I think. So yeah, we have boxes now. Games, superheroes, and movies. Superheroes are full, the box, because we made over 100 pictures live on YouTube. So heroes, that one is full. Movies are almost full, and games isn't even half full. So we gotta do more games, guys. We just gotta do more games. Obviously, we could make one for TV shows if we want to, but yeah, I don't know. This did turn out really cool, I think. Such a nice picture. Very, very, very happy with it. Okay, let me read some comments. Sorry, I'm just selfish here. Adrian, please make Body Crowd your moderator now. You know what? I can do that, but I haven't talked to Cabroy yet if he wants to. But yeah, do you want to be a moderator, Cabroy? It would be nice to have one when Splashby is not here. So I do need one more. And you would be perfect, I think. But yeah, let me know if you want to be a moderator. Thank you, Didos. Didos, yeah? I'm just gonna go a little bit further up. Hello, Nanny. DC, someone like that. That's cool. Adrian the Doomscroller and his two sidekick characters. Oil. You know what? Yeah, I actually do have an idea for the sidekick for the Doomscroller. This is the Doomscroller, and this is obviously me. But yeah, we're gonna fill this wall eventually with just the stuff that we make, like it's community-based stuff, you know. So I do want to make a side character for the Doomscroller that has to do with blue tape. So something like Captain Blue Tape is sort of my idea that I'm having at the moment. I think that could be fun, you know. What software do you use for creating the templates? Well, it's silly, really. But you're not gonna believe me. I actually use Paint.net. Paint, you know that? Every person in the world knows what Paint is. But Paint.net actually has, it's like almost like an it has add-ons that you can add-ons add-ons, so you can sort of do a lot of stuff with that. But I also use two other programs. I do use Photopea. I'm not entirely sure how to say that. And I use, it's a free program, by the way, all of these programs that I use. And I do use Canva also. So those three programs I use, but I actually use mostly that Paint.net add-ons because it's just very simple. So I'm almost afraid to say it because, I mean, Paint is awful, right? But Paint.net actually is very easy to use, and yeah, you can do a lot with it, actually. Any software that can create vector stuff, I believe, yeah. Yep, I am bald. Congratulations. I'm just as bald as Vin Diesel. Thank God for Vin Diesel, or I would not be okay with being bald when I was younger. I started losing my hair when I was 24, and I went from being like this heavy metal dude with long hair to having nothing. It was awful. But now I'm cool with it. Like, I turned 40 this year. I'm okay with it. Do you need this to be vector illustration as a base, Adrian? No, not really. I don't use that word. I'm not so... I just call it stencil based. But yeah, vector. Vector, that I'm thinking more about like CNC cuts and stuff. But I guess it's kind of the same language, isn't it? But yeah, I just stencils. Like if you wanna, I do have free stencils up on my page. If you guys want to get into scroll sewing, feel free to use those stencils as you want to. They're free to download on my homepage. But yeah. Thank you. Yeah. By the way, I just the reason why I didn't stream yesterday was because I was at Tons of Rock, which is like this heavy metal festival every year. It was so good, so fun. If anyone have ever been to Tons of Rock, let me know. I had so much fun. Watched my favorite band, Megadeth, and oh my god, did they play good. So fun, so fun. And people were just great, as always. So yeah. Again, thank you to everyone who subscribed today. Thank you to everyone who has said that this is cool, that are so nice. And if there were any bad stuff in the chat today, I didn't even see it. So yeah, this was a great stream. Rhythm Temptation, they are good. They're good. I like them. My girlfriend is very much into Evanescence and Within Temptation, but so they're a little bit more of her type of thing, but they're a great band. Enjoyed being here. That's nice. That's nice. Cool. Okay, let's talk tomorrow. Oh, today was a workout for me. Really, I'm thinking if we should just do something fun tomorrow. Not that this isn't fun, but something that's a little bit more ridiculous. Okay, so I'll give you some options, okay? So we could do what I want to do, which is this very, very detailed, cool picture. Again, it's a game. It's called Hollow Knight. And we're going to do this pretty soon. But this is a workout, and I feel like it's more of a Saturday, Sunday sort of project because it's a big project. I do have something silly for you guys. We could do Minions. We've done Minions before, but it's always fun. It's one of those sort of things where it's a little bit more easier to just relax and have fun and be a little bit more interactive with you guys. Or I have, yeah, Cavro, I'm getting to you now. We could also do your woman. So yeah, this is, oh, I totally forgot her name. But you wanted a picture of her, so I made this into a stencil. Yeah, I knew you were going to be excited for this one. So we could also do that one. So, but I've sort of been having a little bit of a, okay, let's get away from superheroes for a little bit. We're not getting, we're not getting rid of it. Obviously, we're going to do a big picture again. So don't worry. But I'm just like, that's why I wanted to do Friends. That's why I kind of want to do like more, this type of stuff. Just maybe for another week. But if you are very, very excited for this one, then of course I'm going to do it. But yeah. I don't have the stencils ready for Justice League yet. But as soon as I got it ready, we'll do it. But I'm gonna make it really, really cool. I want it to be a really, really cool picture. So yeah. So yeah, I'll figure out what I'll do tomorrow. Maybe Minion, maybe some other stuff. I even got a picture of Deadpool and Wolverine coming up at some point. But that's when we go back to doing more of the superhero stuff again. So yeah. You're not done with me yet, guys, if you like this stuff. Anyway, I'll show you guys one more time before I leave. This is what we did today. Friends, turned out great. Very, very happy with it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would really much appreciate it. And then you become a part of this doom scroller army. So yeah. Next stream is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye-bye, guys.